Hey rat bags, it's Jade. Welcome to a special ground video. Today, the Grounded Devon team streamed earlier on tonight. I live streamed it to get reaction, and there's so much to cover, guys. So much good things are coming in the 1.1 update, and guess when it's arriving? They're aiming for the 29th of November. Now, I did accidentally record my camera, so just ignore me in the bottom corner there, but that's all the developers above. But I thought I'd show this to you since, yeah, they're on Twitch and a lot of you YouTube viewers don't really like using Twitch. Anyhow, some great, fantastic stuff. It's one of the best quality of life updates I've seen for a game. So much to go over, and some of it really changes how you're going to play Grounded. They also spoke a lot about content coming in the future. Grounded's not stopping, baby. Lots of good stuff is going to be coming to the game. But first things first, the public test branch, they're aiming for the week after the Thanksgiving holidays. They're aiming for the 29th of November. It's called a holiday tree, and it will go live to the public test branch or the Xbox Insider program. So you will need to be enlisted in Xbox Insider, use Google, and you need to download the beta. Now, both of them won't actually go live to the updates there. It's not something that sits there all the time. So don't worry, on the day, I'll do a video telling you guys it's ready to go and go and try it out. But you might want to make sure that you have got the Xbox Inside app on your device if somehow you haven't tried it before for other games like Minecraft or Sea of Thieves. So I'm going to list the 5 biggest things, then we'll go through a whole host of other smaller details. Yes, bigger inventory backpacks is coming. They're adding a whole brand new row, so even more space. They're adding 3 presets for your hotbar, so you'll be able to switch from a go-to harvesting set to maybe a battle-ready armor set, melee set, to maybe your ranged gear at a flick of a button. They are also adding a whole ton of brand new cosmetic items. Not even just bug heads, but loads of vases. They're also adding a ton more building options. Half walls, brand new changes. The crow floors or the crow roofs are changing as well. You'll now be able to block with your bow in the future. And they're removing the blurriness or an option to turn it down on Xbox. So help me out. If you want to see more of my content, you've got to tell YouTube that by liking the video, and let's go through everything else they also revealed. So they've spruced up the intro screen. You can now choose your mode selector, but they've just got some nice icons to really emphasize the differences between them, especially creative, and they'll get a special warning that will tell you if achievements are enabled or disabled using that game mode. There are now 4 different items in terms of backpack when you die. You can lose it forever, you can lose just resources, you can drop the backpack, or they can respawn everything with you. There's brand new icons behind the players when you choose them, and they've also got a chat box now that will work when you're about to create a lobby, and also when you pause the game, you'll still be able to chat to players. So if someone decides to go for a pee, the host, well, you lot can all chat while he leaves it on the pause menu. There are an absolute ton of the new stuff bugs. It looks like they're adding every stuff bug going, including the King Termite, Mantis, and maybe more. It's all coming. As you can see, the trophy heads are all there as well, so you'll be able to decorate more. There's different colour lights, not just mood, where you could turn up the brightness or make it a little bit more red or green. Now you can actually have proper different coloured lights. Any of the light changes you've already made to soften them, they will all just revert back to normal for this change though, so be warned. And you can go ahead and copy the light settings. So if you want to make a whole building filled with blue lights, you don't have to keep going back into the menu every 2 seconds to change it. You'll be able to copy your previous preset and go ahead and place them anywhere. You can also see the brand new clock that's been added that does actually functionally work. It will tell you the time, and the brand new drawer set that's added to the game as well as just another storage option. It is just cosmetic only, doesn't do anything special compared to other items. It's just another way to store your items. You can now name markers so they'll properly pop up. You won't have to just use the icons. You'll be able to put exactly what you want on them. It looks like knives will now stick into players when they're thrown, and I think there's a brand new animation on it where it twirls them around. Now, some people in chat were a bit confused and said this was already in it, but they seem to highlight this quite a bit, that it was showing that animation. Or maybe it is just the fact that it's sticking inside a player. This is just one of the brand new defensive traps that are coming to the game. Not all of them might be there for 1.1, but it is something they're looking at. These are pine cones, obviously spikes that you can see, with a mixture of cement. They're adding half wall stairs, and not only that, but they've got mushroom stairs as well. And no, these are not made out of pine cones. I did call it right. I said they were acorns, but then everyone else was like, no, they're pine cones. But yep, these are half stair walls. There's now 6 different variants of wall as well. I think it looks like there's going to be burr added, as they had all the others on show, and there's previously only 5, but there's now 6. There's a feature we don't know what it does yet. You can clearly see it says Mark IV. We're not too sure how that's going to work. They did say later on they've got no plans to add any kind of portable scanner system for the bugs or resources, so that would kind of maybe rule this out. But if you're marking a foe, that feels to me like you're basically saying something about the creature. You're finding it, you're hunting it, or maybe it's a case of just racking up how many you've killed to show on your trophy. There's 3 different vases added. They are just cosmetic. They won't hold anything. They won't be used for water or anything else. So they are just purely cosmetic. That will show you a little bit more of. And you can see here the grass side table. Plenty of slots, but it doesn't do anything different. What you can do now is to turn off the nearby hot deposit. So if you want to make loadouts of weapons especially, or arrows that you don't want to add every arrow you've got in your inventory to a box, well now you can make some of them only accept certain things by turning off nearby hot deposit. Lots of stuff bugs, and as I said, it looks like they're going to be put into different poses. We saw an ant standing up and a few others looking pretty different too. Here we get to see more of the vases, obviously made out of clay, and maybe a few other things like tough gunk, etc. So you've got some with kind of tough gunk on the bottom of them, or glue, or some sort of paint, and then you've got a few others too. So I kind of hope they do get used for something in the future, but at the moment they're all just purely decorative. We have 3 new dividers. You'll be able to put these up, and you can see that one's made out of gum, one's got obviously the acorn pieces and all these drawings of the raw science, and the third is just a regular burr divider. So you're now going to have the option to go ahead and not just sleep and wake up 8 hours later, but instead at 6 o'clock in the morning, so it's not always dark. And yes, they're even adding a hanging stuffed moth for you guys as well. So here it is. Here is the most exciting bit, the up zip line. Take a look at this bad boy. It's going to be an upgrade that you're going to have to get. So you'll unlock zip lines, you'll be able to go down them. But if you want to go up them, you're going to have to find maybe a chip or some way to get it. Adam said it's going to be pretty obvious how you unlock it or where you'll get it. But it won't be a trinket or anything I think that you have to carry on you. It's going to be just something that will happen once you've unlocked it. So with this upgrade unlocked, you'll be able to choose whatever direction you want to go on your zip lines. So it means your towers will still be really useful. You just won't need maybe as many. And don't panic. You can use all the resources. They're changing it so you get 100% of your resources when you dismantle something. So if you're going to change stuff, make space for all your new gear, you might want to wait till the update actually drops before getting rid of any towers or changing your bases around. They're also adding the ability that you can move some of the wall spikes. These are things I've never used because I never use zip lines of course, but yeah, you won't have to dismantle them anymore. You can just use them whenever you want. Now quickly, you can see the crow rug there. Well, it looked like a rug, but in actual fact, it looks like it is instead going to be just flatter roofs. It looks like they're changing them from the kind of raised middle portion of the flat roofs into just completely flat, which makes much more sense. And there's going to be much more pieces for it, or triangle pieces and more if they're not already in the game. You'll now be able to go ahead and build stuff from pallets. If you're sick or tired of trying to craft something and having to get all the inventory inside your inventory first, well now it'll just take it and pull resources from whatever you've got nearby, including the pallets. You're now also going to be able to hide yourself on the map. You can now play hide and seek properly, do PvP death matches. It's a big feature for players that play a lot with each other. You'll be able to turn it off for you or your group. They are aware of some bugs and issues like ants bringing way too much food back to the anthill, so they're going to limit how many there are, and Burgle will return if he's been missing from the oak tree. You can also see the new feature where you'll peek the creature and you'll see their weaknesses, resistances and weak points in that screen instead of having to go back every 2 seconds to the menu. They've updated a whole host of changes to do with combat and sounds, so you'll hear different sounds now when you're defending or perfect blocking. It looks like arrows will be much easier to pick up now. They should group up under one, I do believe, and you should be able to choose the ammo that you want. They've added a quicker reload or recheck of your ammo button instead, and it does look like, yes, you can now block with crossbows as well as bows. Now I listed this as a big feature because a lot of you guys really complain about the depth of field, and I don't blame you. On PC there's a command you can do in the game files to turn it off, and I've had that off for ages. Whenever I do a guide I'm like, yeah, just look up, look around you, but I forgot that a lot of players on Xbox don't get to see it. So now you can turn it to low, medium, high. I'm not too sure if you can completely remove it, but you can turn it off a little bit now, so you'll be able to see further even on an Xbox. Previously, if you died and hadn't had a save point, you spawned to the nearest field station. Well, now when you die, you will have the option to choose if you want to respawn at a field station. Of course, we knew about the brand new koi chairs. They teased it already in a picture, and a little reveal, so that's obviously coming too. Another few quality life features that I absolutely love. Weapons now, if you throw them, they'll show up more reliably with markers, so you won't necessarily lose them anymore. Also, if your equipment becomes damaged, it won't suddenly unequip, it will stay on you. So your armor particularly, you're not going to lose it randomly in a fight and forget that you actually dropped it, it will stay on you. Now they did do a Q&A, there was quite a lot of questions coming in. I tried asking a bunch, it was hard for them to read. There was 1,000 people watching, they usually have around 200 to 300, maybe 350 sometimes. 700 of you guys popped into my stream at peak, so thank you so much for watching. Adam basically just said that big things like being able to mount creatures or grapple hooks, stuff like that, or gliders even, that would have to have a really big reason for it to being grounded. He says he loves the idea, it's on kind of maybe a yes, maybe in the future, but they have to have content for it. They're not just going to chuck in grapple hooks in a random update. They need to have a big level design or something that they can make use of them grapple hooks that really fits the theme of grounded. He also said and explained a lot, and I really appreciated it, how long it takes for some of this stuff to be made. He also explained why they're probably not going to add damage numbers. He said he didn't rule it out completely, but it wasn't something they felt was a priority, and they'd made a decision at the beginning of the game not to have that kind of stuff. Grounded isn't a loot shooter, it is pretty viable just by seeing the bars above the enemies' heads, how much health they've got. So why do you need damage numbers popping off? They also said that they don't really want to have to do it as just an option yet, because that still involves a huge amount of work. So they didn't rule it out, but they definitely didn't sound too positive on that kind of stuff. But in terms of content and features, they explained that the koi pond took a year to make, the undershed took a year to make. They didn't just put half their team on upcoming content after 1.0, they decided to make sure everyone was doing 1.0, all 20 members of their team. Whereas normally, sometimes people do start making DLC or other content in the pipeline. Now I do know in fact they have used other studios, that's where we got some parts of the koi pond from in the past, like art at least, anyway from Black Shamrock, and they did some work for them. So you never know if an outside company might have been working on some of that stuff as well, but Adam did say he wanted the core team to be all synergised and working together for 1.0. So reading between the lines, and just like I said in my previous videos where I've spoken about the future of Grounded, don't expect a big chunky new update adding stuff like mounts or grapple hooks in like January or February or March. I think a next big huge content drop will be something like summer. That's when we might see something like a new expansion, a brand new area to explore, like another yard, maybe the shed, or maybe yes, even inside the house, although the devs have pretty much said no to being inside the house a bunch of times. That's what I would expect. That doesn't mean there's not going to be updates. Adam explicitly said they've got lots of content to come, lots of updates to come as well in between that time. But yes, by the way he said it, I really feel it won't be until early summer that we see a big new area to explore that might have new bugs. So please bear that in mind when you're seeing more stuff and asking about bugs coming. It just won't happen for at least another 3 or 4 months, maybe even 5 or 6. But if they continue updates like these, if they add and refine more features, if they keep pumping out smaller little bits, every 3 months is what the cadence is usually with their updates, I'll be a happy bunny, because Grounded has done a great job with their updates over the last 2 years in my opinion. Now let's all get our tinfoil hats on. What is this on top of the table at the back or the stairs? Now, some people saying it looks like railings, just behind the glue smasher and just underneath, obviously, the look for more science equipment and obviously the trophy. What is that? Is that a railing or is that something different? I don't think it is a railing. It looks a bit too short to be one. I know it's about the same size maybe as stairs, but I feel like that's something unique and different. Look at the way that it looks like almost spanners or kind of tied to another little stick. What if that was a piston, and what if that was like a power source or something like that? I could be completely wrong. I don't really recognise any of the black bricks there either. Like, what are they? Are they just a cement brick? So is it just a cement railing maybe? The Grounded devs once had power listed, powered buildings on their feature board. So in my wildest dreams, this might be a sign that power might be coming. But yeah, it's either railings or some sort of piston power supply. That's my tinfoil hat moment. Adam did explicitly say to him, don't look at something here. He didn't want to reveal stuff. And this isn't all the stuff that's coming. There are still a few surprises. As they often do, they'll add stuff during the PTB. And there will be a little bit more, I'm sure. And there'll be lots of changes as well and more bits coming after 1.1. Being able to block with bows is a game changer. It makes that class totally much more viable than some of the others. or at least on par with them now. Zipline is a game changer. Getting all your resources back is an absolute game changer. So there we go. Hopefully that's everything. If there's anything I've missed, do let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, with everything you need to know about Grounded, I'll see you right back soon.